Hey guys, it's DC here, and today we're going to talk about risk and compliance meetings in SOC teams. A bit of a pre-warning to this video. This is an absolute rant on SOC compliance meetings because there's just so many problems with them. Let's get started. So just picture this for a moment. You've just gotten into a SOC position. You're like a SOC analyst or some sort of SOC team member, right? And you come up one day and you see in your calendar there's a risk and compliance meeting, and you're like, "Ooh, I've been waiting so long just to talk about all the different vulnerabilities in this SOC. I can't wait to explain them all. I can't wait to show everyone how much I've put into this and how much they're gonna care." And they'll say, "Oh my God, we didn't know there was all these risks before. Why weren't they outlined before?" And you're like, "I'm just gonna go in here absolutely." So you're all G'd up. You're like, you're really getting it together, right? You're pumped. You get into the meeting, there's a little table of sandwiches, there's a little bit of orange juice. If it's a breakfast meeting, especially in Australia, there might be a little bit of champagne, who knows? So you go in there, you put your laptop down, you've got your notes all ready. You're like, "I'm gonna absolutely nail this." In comes the risk and compliance guys. They're wearing full suits, right? Black ties. It looks like they're going to a funeral or some shit. They are going to a funeral. It's your fucking funeral. You just don't know it yet. Everyone's sitting down and they're like, okay, introducing themselves. "Hi, I'm Bob. Hi, I'm Joe. Hi, I'm the legend who's gonna tell you about all of your risks." And they go, "Okay, Guy." They're all there sipping on their champagne, you know, just swanky as shit, right? And you're like, "This is fantastic. I can get used to this." And you go, "Okay, presentation time. Now, I'm gonna tell you about this risk and this risk and this risk." And you list them all out perfectly. You've got a fucking whiteboard going, you've got a PowerPoint presentation with all the pretty graphs and shit. You're absolutely smashing it. You're like just jizzing out Splunk on all of these people. And they're like, "Whoa, look at all these risks." And then in comes the kicker. Budget. So what they'll do is they'll make a plan for you, and they'll say, "Okay, thank you for outlining all of these risks in the committee, yada yada, governance, compliance, yada yada, some bullshit, doesn't matter. We're gonna give you a time frame of 3 years." And you're like, 3 years? These are vulnerable right now. They're like, "We're gonna give you this time frame of 3 years to get a bunch of these risks completed, just some of them, because we don't want you to work too hard, right?" And you're like, "What the fuck? I've just spent like the last 2 weeks of my days and nights outlining all of these risks and putting this shit together." But that's just the first step and the first nail in the coffin. So after these guys tell you that they're gonna take 3 years to analyze your risks and then put them towards the greater committee to then go through all the red tape of compliance meetings and more upper management, you then get to this point where someone comes in, usually someone from finance or someone who's sort of related to finance that they just throw into the blender, which is a risk and compliance meeting. And this person comes in and says, "Okay, so we don't actually have any budget to do any of this stuff. Sorry. And you're like, "What the fuck do you actually mean? I mean, I'm getting paid to work here. Can I just fix it?" And they're like, "Oh no, that. You gotta wait." And it doesn't make any sense. It really irks my biscuit. Now, my sort of personality for these sort of things is walking into these things and absolutely destroying it. I go in, I've got all the paperwork there, I've got the graphs up, everything's looking great. And I'm like, "Right, let's do it. We'll send it to the red team, they'll figure it out. We'll get the blue team to do an attack defense. We'll do a lab, we'll do a competition. It's gonna be great." And they're like, that means we need to pay them." And I'm like, "You're already paying them." They're like, no, but then we need more systems to protect whatever you've outlined." And you're like, "Well, yeah, maybe, I guess." They're like, but budget. You're just like, fuck, what do I do now? Now, fast forward 6 months from that initial meeting, give or take. There's another risk and compliance review. You're like, right, maybe this time I'll go in with more information and I'll tell them, last time it wasn't clear enough maybe that these vulnerabilities are there. They're still there, by the way. It's been 6 months. The same shit is still there, probably. And you go in, you tell them exactly what needs to be done, how much it's going to cost, how much time it will take, who's assigned to the team. You've basically done a project manager's role as a SOC analyst, right? Way out of your pay grade, but you just want to get shit done. You want to do your job and be good at it, right? These guys will then come in and say, but that's not really critical. is it? And you're like, well, yeah, it's pretty critical. I mean, on the scale of 1 to critical, I'd say it's critical as fuck. And they're like, oh, well, yeah, well, now. We'll be the ones who decide if it's critical or not. How about you go through this enormous checklist? And I'm talking like 100 to 200 pages of checklist bullshit, compliance jargon rubbish, right? It's like the Bible of boredom. And they're like, how about you go back, you read this, fill out all of the little items in here, you go through, you answer it. By the way, you have to rebrand this as your own organization or agency, make it all look pretty, and then we'll talk to you in another 6 months. And you're like, well, fuck, what the shit? So another 6 months goes past and you're probably already looking for another job by this point. You go into the meeting at the end, you've got this enormous Bible of boredom filled out, it's all ready to go. You've still got your risks listed and all your pretty graphs from the last 2 meetings that you had. And you go and you're like, bang, slap it on the desk. I've got it here, guys. Are you ready? Because I'm about to blow your fucking minds. Now, this is where things really start to piss me off. You've filled out everything. You've outlined all of the risks from a year ago. You go into the meeting and you've got it all there. It's ready to go. You present it. They say, these vulnerabilities are out of date. And you're like, you've actually got to be shitting me. Like, really? Really? They're like, just go back and do another analysis and we'll present it in another 6 months. You're like, fuck it. You know, I'm out. And this is the never-ending bullshit of a risk and compliance meeting. There's always a few things that come up. One is documentation, the other is budgets, and the other one is just them not wanting to do their fucking job properly. I'm sure there's a lot of risk and compliance people out there and potentially HR officers who have a very different point of view to me, who has worked in a more technical or team lead position and had to present these stupid fucking things multiple times over the last few years. But it's just the way of the world and it absolutely fucking sucks. So I guess to wrap this up, I would say fuck risk and compliance, probably fuck HR as well because they don't back up shit. And yeah, I guess just fuck risk and compliance meetings. They're an absolute waste of time. You fill out all these documents, no one gives a shit at the end of the day. You present it, no one cares. You fill out all the shit that they ask you to do, no one gives a fuck. It's made me very salty, these risk and compliance meetings, let me say. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one. If you did enjoy this video, please do give me a thumbs up, subscribe for more rants just like this, and I'll see you next time. Catch you later.